Have you liked it? Because that is your offering. Like it, share it. To invite your friends and invite your not so friendly friends. Tell all of them that my going today. And if you have done all of that, thank you again. Tonight, I have come with a load of other goodies to help feed and water that your subconsciousness, your ever informed mind, to keep them always informed from the updates coming from that contraption, the Nigeria. There are many people here, maybe not so many, who are still very much like a politically correct. I am talking about those who feel somehow offended every time you say the truth about that contraption, Nigeria. They wish we use other languages. Why don't you use another better language? That your language is too blunt. It is too this, that. Politically correct wearies. Hiding behind, let us be civil. When you are dealing with criminals, career criminals in this, in this kind of situation, don't try to be civil, especially if it involves APC. Don't be civil and don't let anybody gaslight you. The situation of that contraption today, Nigeria, is beyond the, the olden days where people can easily gaslight you or blackmail you using their politically correct, outdated politically correct, words and all that. Don't try it. Okay, don't fall for it. APC, they are the most evil thing to have ever happened to this generation of those of us who come from that place, and calling them out every day, every hour, is a task that must be done, including those who wishes that what we are exposing possibly will come out wrong, so that they could come back later to say, you see, it is not as bad as you thought, I am always kind of trying to be very generous too. If I actually tell you the way things are, genuinely, in that contraption, they will easily label me enemy of, they've tried to label me the hater and all that stuff. Brethren, Nigeria is finished. And if there is any takeaway from the calamity APC, the only takeaway from this is that last, Nigeria will break up into pieces. Whether it's going to break into 2 countries, 4 countries, 6 countries, 60 countries, it doesn't really matter. It will break. And we are not asking them to put, their foot on a break right now. They should continue the destruction of the contraption, the destruction of our people. Last, Nigeria will break up. And that is going to be the biggest takeaway from all of this. Last. So on this platform, we have done our best to call the attention of a lot of you, those who are direct victims and those who are indirect victims. Direct victims of APC, are those who are living inside the contraption. Those ones that they have turned to prayer warriors. Those who are like wishful thinkers. Those who wishes that this sword will pass over their head and they will be saved. No, you won't. APC, have wrecked Nigeria. And they are not even slowing down. And they don't look like they are going to possibly ever stop until you stop them. Brethren, the last 17, 18 months of the APC, Tinubu and his gang, They have further wrecked Nigeria. Before now, they said, oh, Boko Haram took Nigeria 50 years backward in 8 years. You see, when Tinubu is done, you will be 500 years backward when he's finally done. It is just so crazy that majority of those who told you that what Boko Haram was doing in his 8 years, in his murderous 8 years, they said he was building Nigeria. It was going to make Nigeria better. It was only the corrupt people that were complaining. But when Boko Haram was done, some of them are dead. Those who are not dead physically they are dead mentally, walking corpses, so to say. It destroyed Nigeria economy beyond any repair. And then handed it over to Kolu, Tinubu the kleptomaniac, Tinubu the drug dealer, the drug addict, the demented Kolu. And in 17, 18 months, it has taken you probably about 150 years backward. But the same lunatics are telling you that Tinubu is reforming. In 8 years, Boko Haram added over 100 trillion naira to your debts. In 18 months, Tinubu has added 47 trillion naira. Remember when I told you that he's been printing money, and they are not printing money to replace dirty money. They were printing money, and then the Central Bank of Nigeria, Kadobi Oduduwa Emefiole, he was printing money like printing press. Sure, you know, say if you go to a printing press and they say, how many copies do you need? Okay, you know what? Print me a poster. How many copies? Print me 2 million copies. I say, okay, sir. So we need another 2 million. I say, okay, oh yeah. You just put it on the in the printer, right? And we just be rolling up 2 million copies. Print another 2 million. They print another 2 million posters. That's how they've been printing money. And they have been packaging it, giving it to Tinubu. While the main source of Nigeria, supposed forex, crude oil, they have been pocketing whatever the proceeds from the crude oil, unaccounted for. Now, we have just been told that in just 18 months, Tinubu has printed and borrowed, added to your debt to 47 trillion naira. Now, here is the question. Similarly, just same way I asked you the last time, or severally on this platform, could any one of you, the Olori Bruku Abobakus, the Buhari Danes, the Buhari Dideris, the Buhari Denotus, the Buhari Dijatus, the Buhari Shukus, the Ngozi Haris, the Oneka Haris, the obedient fools, the sophisticated morons, the Buhari idiots, the cyberbarians, the same way I ask you for years, if you could possibly point to what what Boko Haram used 27.5 trillion naira they gave to him, what he used it for. None of you could give me that, and so he used it money for that. All the borrowed money, could you point to what Boko Haram used the money for? None of you could actually say, oh, this is what they used the money for. Uncompleted projects everywhere, indebtedness that generations would have to pay. Generations will be born into poverty. I'm talking about 100 years to this time. As long as that contraption exists, generations will be born into poverty. Generations. That's scary. Well, it is going to be a child's play to what Tinubu is doing when Tinubu is finally done. So, 47 trillion naira debt in 18 months. Can any of you, bat idiots, bastards, Lagos Abobakus, Oshogbo Alimajiris, the crumb eaters, the crumb chasers, the ass lickers, the all risers, can any of you just point to what Tinubu invested 47 trillion naira money, the debt, 47 trillion? Can any of you please tell me what they used the money for? Is it on power? Did they use the money for road maintenance? Did they invest the money in your education or invested it in your healthcare? Could anybody or any one of you point and say, oh, this is what they use the money for? 47 trillion naira. The Nigerian's debt is now over 200 trillion naira. Nigerian naira is currently at 1,743 naira to a dollar. No thanks to Tinubu, right? Well, that is the breaking news. You likely will never know. No. 135 trillion basic. You are looking at you see, because you see that one that I put on the screen as the what you can say thumbnail. That is not the debt of Nigeria. You have no idea. The debt of Nigeria officially, these ones that they are cooking figure, that one is cooked figure from the, what do you call it? From their NBS. The original base of Nigeria in 2015, the debt of Nigeria was put at it was a $13.5 billion. The exchange rate then was 148 naira to $1. So if you convert the debt of Nigeria to naira, back then they put the whole thing at I think it was 11 or 12 something trillion naira. That was the debt of Nigeria, local and foreign. But in 8 years of Bukwari and gang, the debt of Nigeria jumped to 105 billion naira plus the 13.5. So when you now, and then the exchange rate was put at 410 naira to $1. So when you now multiply the $105 billion by 400 and something, Baba, we're talking about over 150 trillion naira. Hang on, and this, sorry, over what you can, they put it at over 95 or so trillion. Hang on. However, the main exchange rate go out there was 710 naira. How many of you remember that? 710 naira to $1. That's how we got the 155 trillion naira debt for Nigeria. Today, the debt of Nigeria is now over $150 billion. Congo exchange with 1,743 naira to $1. And tell me if 135 trillion makes sense to you. They have finished that place totally, economically. Anyone who is aspiring that they want to be presidiot of that contraption and they don't have any plan of arresting Bukwari, arresting his wife Aisha, arresting their children, arresting their family members, then go on to the Bukwari's ministers, appointees, arrest them. Those who are female, arrest their husband. Those who are male, arrest their wives, arrest their children. Like thousands of them, just pack all of them. Build a guillotine. Maybe say, place maybe say, go waste much time. Build a guillotine and lock all of them up in there. A special prison. Then arrest Tinubu, arrest his wife, their children, all of them, woman abroad, their family members, and then all the Tinubu's 48 thieves. Anybody where they talk say he wants to come and rule that contraption after these criminals and doesn't have that plan, he's a criminal himself or herself, whoever that person is. By the time these guys are done, sure you get. So as we speak, they say that if they break up, if they divide the debt of Nigeria now, you with me? At least individually, everyone in that contraption, if your population is true, you are in debt of 640,000 naira. If they divide them, so each family, if you are 10 in your family, so they would say 640,000 naira each, right? And they haven't stopped. So you get now, they are still taking more because they have to take more. In the time of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we must take more and more and more taxes as they are claiming. Abi, call you.
If we reduce the purchasing power of the people, we can further slow down the economy. Let's widen the tax net. Those who are not paying now, if it is inclusive of Bola Tinubu, let the nets get bigger and we take in more taxes, and that is what we must do. The cost of fuel has gone up. Food and other prices have followed it. Households and businesses struggling. Things seem anxious and uncertain. I understand the hardship you face. I wish there were other ways, but there's not.
Hey!
And they are not stopping. So the question is, no be say debt or loan is bad. Okay? In fact, with the level of resources in Nigeria, with the amount of resources in Nigeria, to bring Nigeria out of the woods, there is no way that you won't need loans to do them. So you get to get everybody back into like jobs and working and all of that stuff. You need a lot of loans. But these loans have to be invested in strategic sector. For example, the power sector. Out of this 47 trillion naira, how many of you can say how much they invested in the power sector? And what has been the effect of it? I'm asking now, how many of you are 1 trillion, 2 trillion, 10 trillion? You can't say. How many of you can say how much of this money they've invested in your refineries? But they will give you a figure. At the end of the day, you'll be like, okay, how come your refineries are not working? None of it is real, right? Or rather, these guys were taking money to share money. The money they won't even share. They are saying that they are lifting you out of poverty, but they're actually lifting themselves out of poverty. That's the way I see it. We are giving you student loan. Fake student loan. The finance minister said they have shared over 90 billion to over 500,000 students. The people that are in charge of student loan came out and said, no, we have only shared 11 billion to 104 students, 104,000 students. Do you know the number, the distance between 104 and over 104,000 and 500,000? Do you know the margin? He came out and he said they shared 625 billion naira to 25 million people. No evidence, no nothing. Just number. Drop it. And then you look around, you're like, all these 47 trillion naira, go. Where they spend them? On what did they spend the money? Where can you trace it? Nowhere. It's gone. So that's why law, OT law. Gone. Nigeria will stand any chance. And I'll keep reminding you, when Tinubu is finished and is done, right? After you have been fed enough propaganda, lies, and you look around, even the minimum wage, they told you that to pay minimum wage of or living wage of 250,000 naira, they said it was going to add an extra a year. They said it's going to add an extra 7 trillion naira. So to avoid that, no, I think they said 7 trillion. So to avoid that, they decided to pay 70,000 naira. That 70,000 naira they promised that they will pay or pledged or agreed to pay. To this woman, Shishi, they never pay. Shengbang, they no pay. But meanwhile, they have already started giving themselves the medals. The medals that say, Tinubu has increased minimum wage. They destroyed your economy. Tinubu accountancy. Poseidon, that defended the Lagos from Atlantic Ocean. The man they claim built Lagos, Abi, in 18 months, destroyed what people felt like could no longer be further destroyed after Bokwari. Bokwari gave you minimum wage of 30,000 naira. And that was $78 during Bokwari's time. $78. A bag of rice then was a 30,000 naira. Minimum wage, 30,000 naira. Today, minimum wage of Tinubu is 70,000. $43. A bag of rice is 120,000 naira. And they still won't pay you. Lori iro, lori iro, lori iro. They told you that they have removed subsidy, right? And that is why you are buying a liter of petroleum for 1,200 naira per liter. You can't even like stand up to them. Then they turned around, started giving dollars to the same oil marketers. You know all these stories, right? And this is what they have done. If Bokwari used your future oil prospects, future oil exploration to collect as collateral to collect loan, nobody knows what they use the loan for. Now, those people are taking the crude oil. But Tinubu has done his own too. $3.3 billion from the Afrexim Bank. And they used 167 million barrels of crude oil as collateral. In 5 years' time, if Nigeria failed to pay the money back, then these people can start taking 167 million barrels of crude oil. Million, no, it's not 167,000 though. 167 million barrels of crude oil, valued at 12.8, nearly $13 billion. If we are using today's price of crude oil. So by 2028, those ones will just worsen, and they will take $12.8 billion worth of crude oil for $3.3 billion loan. So what did they use the loan for? To defend the naira. Go and read about it. That's what they said. They went to go and take 3.3 billion to defend naira with 12 billion, nearly $13 billion worth of crude oil. And is good. So that by the time the APC Egbekegbe is done, nobody will actually beg you to demand for the breakup of this contraption. Nobody will beg you. You will look around and be like, what will remain again? What is left? What do we have left now? Why are we even here again? Because by then, maybe some of us, they're going to pick us up, Once you enter any airport and you tender your passports, that is if you are still allowed to leave that contraption, though, because some of you, eventually, they will not let you leave that place again because you are a flight risk. Because as you are a collateral for debt that APC, Egbekegbe, right, accumulated. But if those of you who are still outside there, loving Nigeria from abroad, and you tender your passport, you go China. No go China. Because China too, they are piling up their own debt with Nigeria. And China, no, they forgive debt too. And this Western world, they say that they forgive debt. Chinese, no, they forgive their own debt. You say they go Shanghai. Alola Milamini, nobody they see in return. Say, all right, she's Nigerian. Ola, LOC concentration camp. They pick up onions or agbalumo, sherry to pay back the debt of your country. You will see. Because by then, the population of Nigeria could don't reach like maybe 300 million. And if you don't reach 300 million, they probably just use 200 million of you as collateral for debt with the way these guys are going. And it's not funny. Children, millions of children are going to be born into poverty. They will never have access to education. They will not have access to good health care. not to talk of having access to good dieting or diet system. No, they won't. And that is the report card of APC, when they are done. There's nothing they can say today. The Abubu sellers and the rest of them, even though some of you claim to be influencers, in a space of 18 months, there are those who are smiling to the banks though. One of them is this Ohando. Ohando is owned by Tinubu, as well as a supposed proxy Chena nephew Abinisi, Wale Tinubu. You've heard. This is a company that claimed to be worth